The Chiefs made an unexpected move by using the franchise tag on offensive lineman Trey Smith, a decision that left many fans and analysts scratching their heads. In today's video, I'll explain why this move might not be as puzzling as it seems, and what it could mean for the team's offseason strategy. Additionally, a key player has confirmed their return for the 2025 season, which is exciting news that we'll dive into later. So let's break it all down. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Before moving to Trey Smith, let me break down big news. The news was broken by Pat McAfee, who shared a text from Travis Kelce confirming he's coming back for his 13th season. Kelce made it clear he's not satisfied with how things ended last season, stating his goal to get into the best shape of his life and help lead the team back to the top. It's worth noting that Brett Veach recently revealed Kelce was battling a significant illness leading up to the Super Bowl. While it doesn't excuse the loss or his performance in the second half, it might explain why he seemed to struggle as the game went on. Kelce's never been one to make excuses, so it's no surprise he didn't mention it publicly. Still, it's an interesting detail that sheds some light on his performance during the game. The excitement surrounding Kelce's return is clear, with Patrick Mahomes sharing a last dance gif on Twitter, and the Chiefs themselves celebrating with a simple Year 13 post. Fans can take comfort in knowing one of the franchise's most iconic players is gearing up for another season, determined to leave no regrets on the field. The return of Travis Kelce for what could be his final season is massive for the Chiefs. Even at nearly $20 million in cap hit, Kelce has consistently proven his worth, performing like a top-tier wide receiver while being paid as a tight end. Whether the Chiefs stick with the current cap hit or spread it out with void years remains to be seen, but his presence on the field is invaluable. At 36 years old, though, Kelce can't be expected to carry as heavy a load as he did last year, playing over 80% of snaps. The team needs to provide solid support around him. Hollywood Brown's potential return and the contributions of Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice after his suspension are promising. This group, combined with Noah Gray stepping up, could help take some pressure off Kelce. Okay, now let's address the franchise tagging of Trey Smith, a move that caught nearly everyone off guard. Chiefs fans online reacted with surprise, questioning why the team would prioritize tagging a right guard when a left tackle seems like a bigger need. After all, Patrick Mahomes has proven he can perform well with at least competent play from the left tackle position. The decision certainly raised eyebrows, but I'll try to offer some optimism and perspective on why the Chiefs might have gone this route. I initially thought the Chiefs wouldn't have the cap space to tag Smith. With only $7 million available, the $24 million franchise tag seemed impossible without freeing up significant cap room. However, I need to clarify something. While teams must be under the cap by the start of the new league year, they can temporarily exceed it, which allowed Kansas City to move forward with this surprising move. According to Aaron Wilson, the franchise tag for Trey Smith became official around 4:30 p.m. on Friday, February 28th. Even seasoned Chiefs reporters like Nate Taylor of The Athletic and Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest expressed their surprise at the announcement. Initially, many, including myself, believed the Chiefs would let Trey Smith test free agency, where he'd likely become the highest-paid guard in the NFL, a well-deserved honor. The assumption was that Kansas City would instead focus on securing a quality left tackle for Mahomes, but finding a high-caliber left tackle in free agency and then locking them into a long-term deal isn't as straightforward as it sounds. This decision might hint at a larger strategy from the Chiefs, one that balances financial flexibility and roster priorities. Let's dig deeper into the possible reasons behind this move. Most players who hit free agency as left tackles are typically 30 years old or older, and that's around the time when natural performance decline starts setting in. Some of these players might also be dealing with injuries. It's rare for teams to let franchise-caliber left tackles walk freely. They usually secure them with the franchise tag and then work toward a long-term deal. That means, for a team like the Chiefs, the options are limited. They'd either need to trade for a left tackle, much like they did with Orlando Brown Jr. a few years back, an experiment that didn't result in a long-term deal and cost the team multiple draft picks, or try to draft and develop one over time. Drafting a left tackle isn't easy, especially when you're not picking early in the first round. The Chiefs drafted Kingsley Suamataia late in the second round last year, and while he could eventually grow into a left tackle candidate, it's not realistic to head into training camp relying solely on him to fill that role. Developing a player like that takes time, and the Chiefs don't seem to be in a position to take such a gamble. This decision suggests that the Chiefs don't plan to make a big splash at the left tackle position in free agency. It's unlikely they'll pursue a high-priced acquisition unless they're planning to tag and trade Trey Smith, similar to what they did with Algerius Sneed last year. That approach would free up cap space and bring in draft capital, but multiple reports indicate that isn't the direction the team is heading this time around. As for addressing the left tackle position, unless general manager Brett Veach decides to make an aggressive overhaul of the offensive line, like he did after the Super Bowl 55 loss to the Buccaneers, the Chiefs will likely take a more conservative approach. A short-term veteran signing, such as a 1 or 2 year deal, seems more plausible. Someone like DJ Humphreys could be an option. If he gets a full offseason to recover from the hamstring issue and another year removed from the ACL tear, he could potentially fill the gap. Of course, he wouldn't be the sole solution, but he could serve as part of a broader strategy to stabilize the position. To truly address the left tackle position, the Chiefs might need to consider the draft. If a player like Josh Simmons falls far enough, he could be a solid option, one who might be able to step into that role seamlessly. Another name like Josh Connerly Jr. could also be in the mix, provided the coaching staff sees enough potential in him to justify the pick and feels confident in his ability to develop him over time. That said, when it comes to player development, especially at the tackle position, the track record under offensive line coach Andy Heck hasn't been particularly strong. While this trend could change, it's something worth keeping in mind. Realistically, pairing a veteran bridge left tackle with a draft pick seems like the most likely approach. The Chiefs are making it clear they are focused on maintaining the strength of their interior line, and keeping it elite is a priority. The importance of a solid interior offensive line can't be overstated. Look at what happened to the Texans with C.J. Stroud this past season. Their interior line was riddled with injuries, which led to significant struggles for Stroud. His performance dipped in his sophomore year, and he ended up being the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL. The culmination of those issues was evident when he was sacked 8 times in the divisional round of the playoffs at Arrowhead. While some fans pointed fingers at the refs, the truth is the Texans' special teams and offensive line let them down in a big way. A similar issue arose for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Eagles focused on neutralizing the quick passing game and took away Mahomes' first read as often as possible. With Joe Thuney forced to kick out to left tackle, the offensive line's weaknesses became more apparent. Thuney is an elite left guard, but his play at left tackle is only slightly above average at best. Moving Thuney to tackle also left Mike Caliendo at left guard, and his play ranged from average to below average. This clear drop in quality impacted both the passing game and the running game. Fortunately, Andy Reid confirmed at the Combine this week that the plan is to move Thuney back to left guard, where he excels. Keeping Trey Smith in the mix ensures the Chiefs maintain their elite interior trio, providing stability for the foreseeable future. This strategy underscores the team's commitment to fortifying the offensive line from the inside out, which will be crucial for continued success. The Chiefs' plan with Trey Smith appears to be tagging him as a bridge to signing him to a long-term deal, likely a 4-year contract worth around $23 million per year. This move would reset the guard market, just as they did with Creed Humphrey when they made him the highest-paid center. The $23 million figure, which I've heard from several sources, is about $2 million more than Landon Dickerson, the current highest-paid guard. Understandably, some might find it excessive to pay a right guard that much, especially when Creed is already earning $18 million per year. Jawan Taylor is on a $20 million deal, and Joe Thuney's cap hit sits at around $26 million in the final year of his $16 million contract. Plus, the Chiefs still don't have a definitive solution at left tackle. However, Brett Veach and his team are always planning for the future, often looking 2 to 3 years ahead when managing the salary cap. The salary cap did increase this year, but the Chiefs were already operating close to the limit. Before tagging Smith, they had around $7 million in available cap space. However, after placing the tag, they now sit $16 million over the cap. The good news is they only need to be cap compliant by the start of the new league year on March 12th. Fortunately, there are several moves the Chiefs could make to create the necessary cap space. For instance, they can convert Patrick Mahomes' roster bonus into a signing bonus that could free up $25.8 million. They can do the same with Chris Jones' roster bonus that would add another $12 million. A similar move with Travis Kelce could create an additional $10 million, though it might require void years, something Clark Hunt isn't particularly fond of. Altogether, these moves could generate up to $57 million in cap space relatively quickly. While it's unlikely the Chiefs would use every one of these options, it demonstrates how possible it is to afford tagging Smith while still making other key moves.